Alright guys, so today what we're going to do is we're going to be drawing a Yeti. It's a nice winter character to draw. So we're going to first start by turning in our sketchbook to the next blank page. And then when we get to that page, if you're going to use a marker, you're going to want to make sure you have a little cover sheet underneath your page. I would suggest that you start with a pencil first. I'm going to draw with a marker just to make it really easy for you to see the steps. We're going to start by just drawing a rectangle on our blank sketchbook page, or a piece of free draw paper if you don't have your sketchbook with you today. And this is just our frame, this is just our active area. And then coming up to the top up here, we're going to start by sketching out a shape for the head. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeti's covered with fur, so any mistake that you make, you can just cover it up with more Yeti fur if you want. And then on the sides here, we're going to come down. We're going to draw two big Yeti arms. Remember, covered with fur. Draw two lines down for the body, and then two curvy lines down for the feet, for the legs. So remember, we're using that zigzag jagged line to draw the sort of like showing the hair. Here we'll draw his fingers. Give him big, huge fingers. Big, huge fingers. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can also pause the video. There's his fingers. There's his feet. Alright, so there's our Yeti's body. You can add more hair here and there. Can add some zigzag lines here and there to draw his fur. Alright, now let's go up and do his face. So we're going to draw a frame for his face using that same zigzag line. And that's sort of like where the fur starts on his face. His face doesn't have that much fur. Then you can give him a big, huge eyebrow. You can give him two beady little eyes. So there's his eyes and his eyebrow, kind of like all one thing. We're doing very cartoony here today. Very cartoonish. Here's his nose. We're going to give him a sort of like a little triangle, pointy type nose. And then for his mouth, we're just going to go upside down, curving line with a couple of his Yeti fangs hanging out. And then the only thing that you want to do from here is you want to add fur. Well, it's time to go to class, folks. Make sure you walk slowly and quietly in the hallways. I'm just thickening some of my lines now, just to give it a little bit more dimension and contrast. In the background, we could have some mountains. Most people say that Yetis live in the Himalayas, which are mountains in India and China. You can draw wrinkles on his fingers, his fingernails too. And you can give him some toenails, you can give him some wrinkly feet if you want. You can draw more fur around his feet. Maybe there's a little snowbank that he's standing on down here. And there's our Yeti. Put the sun up in the sky back here, maybe some clouds. Try to add some details and some dimension to your character. You can even add some extra wrinkles to his forehead if you want. Cheekbones. There's our Yeti. Now if you really want to get into it, you can get a pen and you can add dots and lines for shading. I like to add lines a lot. Maybe there's a shadow on his arm right here, but instead of coloring it all in black, I'm just shading it with lines. You can do the same thing to his fingers. Maybe the skin on his fingers is darker than his hair. Maybe he's got like gray skin. Something along that line. Maybe there's a shadow on the side of his torso here. Shadow on the edges of his legs. He's got a little shadow where his tummy sticks out here. And put some shadows down on his feet. Let's see, where else might there be fur here and there? Maybe on his side of his face he's got a little shadow. Mountains can have shadows up one side. Just adding a little dimension with some lines, that's all. And you can use dots here and there if you want to make some shadows, some dots. Alright, and then once you get all finished, you can outline and color your Yeti.